Hey there, we're Pool Kleen Services, and we're super excited to chat with you today about some of the main mechanical parts of your pool system. We know it can feel a little overwhelming, but by the end of this you'll have a much better handle on your pool pump, how it works with your jets and skimmers, your pool filter, and other helpful auxiliary equipment. Our goal is to help you feel totally at ease understanding your pool. Part 1. Pool pumps, jets, and skimmers. Let's dive right in with the pool pump. This is truly one of the most important pieces of your entire pool system. Think of it as the heart of your pool. It's what keeps the water moving, ensuring it stays beautifully clear and ready for a swim. Without that consistent flow, your pool just wouldn't be the same. You'll commonly find pumps in sizes like 1 horsepower, 1.5 horsepower, and 2 horsepower. The right size for your pool really depends on how big your pool is and how far the water needs to travel. Many pools use single-speed pumps which give a steady, consistent output. However, some pools might benefit from variable speed or uprated pumps. These are great for pools with fun features like slides, waterfalls, or infinity edges, as they can adjust the water's speed when needed without always having to jump to a higher horsepower for everyday use. Now let's look at the key parts of your pump: the basket, the motor, and the impeller. The basket, this is where you'll add water to prime the pump, which just means getting it ready to run smoothly. Sometimes leaves or other bits of debris might sneak past your filtration system and end up here. Keeping this basket nice and clean is super important for an efficient system. You can usually spray it down with a garden hose, but a brush can be handy for those more stubborn bits. The basket connects to a lid that has an O-ring. This O-ring is like a seal, preventing air leaks when the pump is running. It's a good idea to keep an eye on this O-ring and make sure it's well lubricated. We highly recommend Magic Lube for most pool system O-rings, and you can easily grab some at our retail location in Teays Valley. The motor, just like the engine in your car, the motor gives your pump the power it needs to move all that water. Even if motors seem similar in voltage and output, it's really important that they're precisely matched to your specific pump. If you ever need a replacement, we're more than happy to help you find the perfect fit at our Teays Valley store. The impeller, this is the part that actually helps the motor push water out of the pump. The most common issue with impellers is that they can get stuck, especially after long periods of heavy use. This can happen if the shaft struggles to spin due to overuse or if something is blocking it. If you ever notice your pump acting a little funny, maybe it's getting too hot, making odd whining or grinding noises, or your water pressure from the jets is fluctuating, we strongly suggest giving the Pool Kleen Services retail location a call. We're here to help. So, what are the jets? These are the openings that allow filtered water to flow back into your pool. They usually have an eyeball or a nozzle at the end that lets you direct the water flow. We recommend pointing them in the same direction all around the edge of your pool to get the best possible water circulation. Keeping an eye on your jets can actually tell you a lot about the health of your pool system and if it might need a little extra attention. And now for the skimmers, which are basically the jet's best friend. The pump sends filtered water out through the jets, it circulates around your pool, and then it goes into the skimmers. From there, the water is taken back to be filtered again and sent back out. Your skimmers have a door, also called a weir, a basket to catch debris, a lid to get to the basket, and the pipes that take the water back to the pump. On the outside of the weir, you'll find a faceplate with a gasket. This is a common spot for leaks in both above-ground and in-ground pools. When you're adjusting this, it's important not to over-tighten the screws that attach it to the wall. The door, or weir, of your skimmer should be able to move freely with the water's circulation, and you should check the basket in your skimmer regularly to keep it clean. A dirty basket doesn't just mean a dirtier pool, it also means your pump has to work much harder to pull water through, which can actually shorten its lifespan and reduce its efficiency. It's super important that when your system is running, your pool's water level stays right around the middle of your skimmer. If the water level is too low, your pump might start pulling air into the system, which can cause big problems and even stop it from working altogether. If the water level is too high, it makes circulation and filtration much more difficult. If your water level is too low, we recommend topping it off with a garden hose. If it's too high, your pool might have a bottom drain to lower it. If not, you can use the backwash or waste settings on a sand filter or use a sump pump to remove some water. If you have any questions about adjusting your water level, just ask. Part 2. Pool filters. The two most common types of pool filters are sand filters and cartridge filters. Sand filters are what we see most often here in West Virginia. They're made up of a basin, a multi-port valve, and a lateral assembly. The basin, this is the tank that holds the sand itself, usually tan or gray with a small drain plug at the bottom. The size of your filter determines how much sand it can hold for filtration. This can range from 50 pounds for really small systems to over 500 pounds for large commercial or public pools. For typical residential in-ground pools, we most commonly see 300-pound filters. We suggest changing the sand in your filter every 3 to 5 years, though during exceptionally busy summers, you might need to change it a bit more often. If you're noticing your filter isn't quite performing its best, especially after dealing with algae, we recommend ProTeam Filter Magic to boost the quality and lifespan of your sand. You can find this at our retail location in Teays Valley. The multi-port valve or top valve, this is basically your steering wheel for operating your pool with a sand filter. The handle on top lets you choose settings like waste, backwash, filter, recirculate, and more, depending on what your pool needs at the moment. Each of these settings is super handy for maintenance and keeping your chemicals balanced. Also on your top valve, you'll find your sight glass and pressure gauge. The sight glass, this is really important for backwashing because it gives you a peek at the water coming out of your filter. If it looks green, dirty, cloudy, or has any unusual color or cloudiness, that's a sign you've got something in the system that needs to be flushed out. The pressure gauge, keeping an eye on this gauge is also vital for filter maintenance. If it starts to go outside the 15 to 20 psi range, it means debris in the filter is getting in the way of smooth operation and your filter will need to be backwashed. After you backwash, you should see the pressure on the gauge drop. Just a heads up, these gauges are designed to break if there's a sudden, radical increase in pressure. This is actually a good thing. It protects the more expensive and crucial parts of your system by releasing that excess pressure safely. So, think of your pressure gauge as your friend, make sure to check in with it regularly. Cartridge filters work a little differently. Instead of backwashing to clean the filter, you'll actually remove the cartridge from its tank and clean it by hand. Also, cartridge filters typically don't have a waste option since there's no multi-port valve. This means that when you vacuum your pool, it will lead to more buildup on the internal filter. Part 3. Auxiliary equipment. Auxiliary equipment is a catch-all term for other fantastic additions that can make your pool experience even better, like heaters, UV systems, inline chlorinators, and salt systems. Heaters. This usually refers to gas-powered heating devices that need an existing natural gas line to operate. Heat pumps are generally electric alternatives that don't require a gas line. Inline chlorinators. Sometimes called tab feeders, these are plumbed directly into your system to add chlorine tablets to your water so you don't need to use a floating dispenser. Salt systems, these offer a different way to chlorinate your pool and include a cell and a panel. The cell is where the magic happens. It uses electrical principles to convert the salt in your water into chlorine and then back again, significantly reducing your need to add chlorine manually. The panel is where the cell gets its power, and it also gives you helpful diagnostic and setting information. You can use the panel to check your pool's salt levels, see any mechanical or chemical error indications, and even adjust the salt cell for settings like superchlorinate, which is how the system produces chlorine. To sum it all up, your pool system is a team effort. The pump, jets, and skimmers work together to circulate the water and keep that great flow going. Your filter system, either sand or cartridge, cleans the water as it moves. And your auxiliary equipment can make pool ownership easier or simply enhance your swimming experience. Thanks so much for taking the time to learn with us today. Have a fantastic day. Remember, with Pool Kleen Services, you can stress less and smile more.